Now, success leaves clues. Now, not a man or woman or child in this room has not read a book, listened to a podcast, etc., about creating wealth. You wouldn't be here. But you've equated reading a book with taking action. It's not. Going to a seminar isn't taking action. This is closer to taking action than a regular seminar. So you've read thousands of books. I mean, the group. Probably a couple of you have read thousands of books by yourselves. And what's changed? How's your program worked out so far? If your program worked out so far, you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be here. And unless you take action leaving here tomorrow is the beginning of the rest of your life. Success leaves clues. And what the kids, and I'll call you kids because I'm either old enough to be your grandfather or father, you've heard that before. And today I'm closer to 77 today than 76, because I'm 76 in 6 months today. Thank you. Success leaves clues. Steve Jobs was a prick. I knew him. Elon Musk is a prick. I don't know Elon. Elon's favorite word is fuck. His second favorite word is cunt. Bill Gates is a prick. Zuckerberg is a prick. I can go on and on and on. Success leaves clues. And you want to get their kind of wealth and be nice. Now, the word nice, if you Google fuck it, is an Anglo-Saxon derivative from 13th, 14th century that means retarded, mongoloid idiot. Yeah, yes. Now, how many times the guys has your mother told you, I got a nice girl for you to meet? I used to jump. Success leaves clues. And so some of the guys and gals we're going to talk about today are unkind people, we'll call them. I've been called ruthless. Yeah. But there is a multi-billionaire that you know his name, if I mentioned it about 36, 37 years ago, said, Danny, you're too nice to be super wealthy. If I'm too fucking nice, where do you stand? I have never seen a high-performance person in my life say, I'm working on it. You guys say it all the time. I'm working on it. I'm trying to get better. And I can look at your faces, and I can tell who of you I'm working. Fuck, you're working on it. Do you think that Steve Jobs ever said, I'm working on it? You think Andrew Carnegie, my virtual mentor, ever said, I'm working on it? There's a reason why Andrew Carnegie, and I was privileged enough, my wife took me on my 75th birthday to his lovely home, Skibo Castle, which I almost bought, another story, many years ago. And we stayed in the daughter's suite. And other than the door handles, knobs are low on the doors because he's a very little guy, it looks like a regular big house. With all the wealth he made and with all the wealth he's given away, he has never received one fucking award from the King or Queen of England. Not an honorable mention. Now go fuck yourself. Nothing. Why? Because he literally killed people. Success leaves clues. Success leaves clues. Now, I'm not suggesting in any way, shape, manner, or form that you should go out and whack somebody. Okay? But I'm sure a few of you in here would have liked to whack somebody in your life for sure. Okay? But I'm not suggesting that. But I mean, when Bezos, Ford, Edison, all these guys, they're all hard as fucking stone. And I've got a guy, well, speaking of priests, but anyway, I got a guy, I've had rabbis, priests, bishops, nuns, you name it, come to the seminar, I talk exactly the same. But this is not, who prays the most on the world? Poor people, right? How has it worked out for them? It fucking hasn't, has it? Now, for QLA, and everything I'm saying here is on my site free. You should know that, okay? If you had, now I'm not going to turn this into a religious deal, but many of you have a faith that you believe in a higher power, a God, or this or that, right? You believe in it, but you've never seen it. You may have seen actions, that it must have been a miracle or something, but you've never met him, her, or it, right? If St. Teresa, and I put my money on the bishop when she was just a Mother Teresa, floated down through the ceiling here, I ask her for fucking ID. But you have faith. That's what you believe, right? The people that make all the money have faith in themselves. Not a system. Not a fucking process. In themselves. Nobody loves Dan Peña more than Dan Peña. I was crying this afternoon watching myself on tape. I mean, I love hearing myself. But these icons that you look up to, or some of you do, some of you don't, were all hard. And you're like the underbelly of a jellyfish. I say that the world is through. The apex of the human race was about 10 or 20 years ago. And I'm going to give you just a few examples. That's why it makes QLA even easier. Because the competition is even more scared than you are. They're more afraid than you are. In an emergency situation, it seems 75% of the people would rather pull out their phone and record versus stepping in to help. I can hardly read that. Are you shitting me? It gets worse. Reuters watches a woman was raped on the, I don't know what that SEPTA means, but train, but no one called 911. It's a big long article. 40 or 50. Are you kidding me? We're fucked. There's no turning back. Why aren't you worried about the asteroid that's going to hit us in 2242? That's going to hit us. Nobody even talks about it. Because that's more than mañana. I don't know. I'll take a swipe at global warming in a little bit, which is my favorite. But, I mean, if my dad, who's been dead about 10 years, died in the 90s, if he thought I was part of this, he'd come out of his fucking grave and kill me. But this is the world we're in. Now, and this is the world we're in. Semen counts are down worldwide. Japanese haven't had a male with balls born in I don't know how many years now. We would rather sleep with a doll. At least dolls don't say no. Or don't touch me. I mean, this is where we are. My TV series deal was signed in December after 6 years of fucking with it. I almost gave up at least 10 times. And it's not anything like I had planned, but it's, from the barrio to Westminster. But part of the reason I'm going forward with it is because I want poor kids from the hood, the ghetto, the barrio, etc., to know you can make a lot of money, not to go to a proper school. I went to a school you got to explain about, etc., etc. Been arrested several times, in jail. I mean, we're working on a talk I'm going to give at the prison in Vermont. I think it's in Vermont, a prison. And some smart ass, I would have been there, slap his fucking teeth out. He asking the guy that's, what do we want of this white boy? What's he going to teach us? And then when they hear about me, some of the shit that I've done, got arrested. And, the last time I was arrested was February the 10th, 1977, for assault with a deadly weapon on a cop. I don't remember it. I was drunk. All my arrests had alcohol to do with them. And they said that he poked me with one of those sticks, and I took it away from him, and I said I did some other stuff. And he tuned me up. But then they took me back to jail, and 15, 20 cops tuned me up. They called my dad, who was a big-time cop at the time. Manny, what do you want us to do with your son, Danny? I want you to fuck him over. Fuck him up so he remembers this. So almost being beat to death. And then my dad came 3 days after to take me to the hospital. But yes, sir, no, sir, thank you. You guys, you should. Thank you for your service for you guys. When I got out, they spit on me after the Vietnam War. So even though you deserve thank you for your service, it's a little difficult for me to get the words out of my throat. But thank you for your service. Thank you for your service. But this is, I would ask, but, some of you are here with your significant others. I'm not going to ask you how it is to sleep with one of these things, but that'll be another seminar. Success leaves clues. All of us are focused. Follow one course until success. 99% of the people that come to see me at the seminar, and other than these free talks that I give around the country, are involved in more than one business idea. They're trying to do 2, 3, 5, 7 things. It was proven, not just at MIT, Harvard, and Oxford said it 15, 20 years ago, but the human brain can only focus on 2 things at a time. Possibly 3 if you're Einstein. And how many deals are you involved? Or how many deals are you looking at? Or how have you divided your time up? One of my Hall of Famers, Canadian gal, who unfortunately went to jail, because the QLA model is a mafia model without a gun. That's all it is. It's a mob. We give them a deal they can't refuse. Okay? But in the mafia guys, they can't refuse because they stick a gun in their mouth. But she said the biggest thing that I learned, and she was already worth 5 or 10 million when she came to me, she says, is that to do one thing great and not 3 things okay. We all heard the book, Good is the Enemy of the Great. And it is true. The guys and gals and the its that stay laser beam focused. Now, these aren't secrets. These aren't tips. This is just how I look at it when I first started, and I still look at it. How and not why. I don't give a fuck why. I only give a fuck how. You want to know why. Because that allows you to procrastinate more and not do a goddamn thing. You want to be effective versus liked. If I leave here and you like me, I fucked up. I don't want to be liked. I want to flip 2, 3, 4 of you. I'm really good, so maybe I can flip 10 of you to the dark side of finance. God and mammon. I'm not going to go through the Bible bullshit, but I'm going to flip you, some of you. Some of you, Ross Perot told me 35 years ago, Danny, he said, success is on the razor's edge of failure. Some of you are right on the razor's edge, but you can't commit. You can't pull the trigger, or you try to pull the trigger on more than one thing. And one of my favorites, when I was growing up and I got in a lot of fights, got beat the shit out of a lot of times by my dad, he said, it's not what happens to you in life, Danny, it's how you interpret what happens to you. That was number 1. And number 2 was sticks and stones versus words. Sticks and stones can break your sticks and stones can break your bones, but words can never hurt you. Now it's just the opposite. We have people committing suicide on Facebook because they were unliked, or whatever the terminology is. And the last thing is fear, which is false expectation appearing real. Things aren't as bad as we think they're going to be. And I've been in some shitty situations, believe me. But they weren't as bad as I had thought. They weren't as bad as I had thought. And I have a mentee, a Lebanese kid from Canada. He went to try to do QLA in Iran. And he's about 6'8" or 9, about 6% body fat. He's a big power lifter guy. And he went over there and they decided QLA was communism, the Ayatollah. This is in the Ayatollah time. And they arrested him. And he's trying to explain. A gentle giant is what he was. And he said, I had to get used to, in the cells next to me, the men screaming because they were being raped every night. And he said that I wasn't, pay price to action, I wasn't willing to pay that price. But they all left me alone because he was a big fucker, okay? There are advantages to being a big fucker. There are also advantages, it wasn't me, that you can run fast. I wasn't one of the run fast because I was very uncoordinated as a kid. Okay. Now let's talk about this a couple minutes. I used to ask the question, I don't anymore because you lie. You lie to yourself, you're delusional. Okay. There's maybe 3 guys and no women in this room that would say that they'd give up being liked to be more effective. It's not how we're raised. It's not how your mama raised you. Remember, you're the average of the 5 people you spent most of the time being raised. You normally a mom, maybe a part-time dad, maybe an older brother or sister, a grandparent, right? What do they know about creating high-performance people? Fuck all, nothing. fuck all nothing. When I went off to school, my mother walked me to school, even though it was 2.5 blocks. And she'd stand behind the trees so the people couldn't see that she was watching me to make sure I got onto the schoolyard into the classroom. And then she would come halfway to school to meet me when I'm walking home. And this is in Nevada, it was but they weren't killing 5, 6, 7-year-olds then. They weren't raping them and kidnapping them when I was a little guy. But every day she said, you got to be nice. You got to share your toys. You guys share your toys with your neighbors too much. Fuck Johnny if he doesn't have any fucking toys. I give you one word, be selfish. Be more selfish. Nobody loves Dan more than Dan. You can't say that for yourself. Most of you look in the mirror, you don't like what you see. Well, I don't blame you, really, when I look out in the audience. Huh? Well, if you really believe that,